So before I go through how to use the cruise control and the waypoints, one of the most important things you can do is get a set of ND filters like these ones I've got from Freewell. Now I know that you do get ND filters that come with the Mini 5 Pro, but because they're only an ND 8, 32 and 128, you're not going to have the range that you really need to get proper footage. Whereas if you do invest in a good set of ND filters like these ones, you're going to get the ND 16, 32, 64, 256, 512 and 1000, and that's going to give you the massive range that you need for doing the proper footage and getting everything nice, smooth and with that motion blur. Now, looking at the conditions today, I would probably say I'm going to need an ND 64, and that's something that DJI don't supply, but it is in this pack, so I'm going to try that and see exactly how I get on with that one first. So I am going to be filming in 60 frames a second, and the reason I'm doing this is that I can slow it down by half in post-production if I want to. So it means if I am flying too fast, I've always got that ability to reduce the speed slightly and it's still going to look natural and smooth. Whereas if I'm filming in 30 frames a second, I've got no leeway to adjust anything in post because it just means that the footage is going to be too jerky. So the reason you need ND filters is that you need to bring the exposure level down. Now, if you are doing it in auto, what tends to happen is the camera will put the exposure rate quite high, and that can result in some jerky footage and you're not going to get any motion blur. So by using ND filters, you're going to reduce that light coming in, and ideally it should be set for the exposure to be twice that of the frame rate. So in my case, because I'm filming in 60 frames a second, I need an exposure of 1/120th of a second. I'm not going to get that just by leaving it in auto. So the trick is to expose for the brightest part of the sky and then put on a filter that's going to bring that level down to -0.3 or -0.7, and this is because it's a lot easier to bring up the shadows in post-production from underexposed than to get anything which is overexposed and then try and get the details back, because once something's overexposed, you've lost the details altogether. So in order to set it up properly, we need to go into the Pro mode. So I'm going to select the auto, and that's going to take me into the Pro mode. I've got my frame rate set to 60 frames a second, so I need to set my exposure to 1/120th of a second. So if I go from auto into Pro mode and I drop the exposure down from the auto setting down to 1/120th of a second, you can see that the image is going to be totally blown out. So I need to put on an ND filter now that's going to bring the exposure compensation value down to -0.3 or -0.7, and for that I'm probably going to need a ND 64. Now, as I said earlier, DJI don't supply that, and this is why you need to go for something like the Freewell filters, because that's going to give you much more range when it comes to setting the correct exposure with the correct filter. So I've got the ND 64. It is just a matter of flipping it onto the top of the gimbal. So if I hold it up to light now, you can see that my exposure value is down to -0.3, and that's spot on for these conditions, and it really is as simple as that. So once you put the filter on, if it was too high or too low, you just need to change the filter accordingly just to get that spot value. But you can see from that straight away it's going to give me the one I want, and that's ideal for these conditions. Now, as well as having this range of filters, Freewell also do a range of ND and CPL filters, and what they allow you to do is that if you are flying over water, it's going to reduce the amount of glare you get coming from the surface of the water or snow, that type of thing, and it also means that you're going to get the sky pop into a more vibrant blue, or things like foliage pop into a more vibrant green. So if you use ND filters with a CPL filter, that's going to give you a lot better saturation and contrast in your footage as well. But I'll do that in a separate video. So it really is worthwhile investing in a proper set of ND filters, because you are going to get much better results than just using the plain ones you're going to get from DJI. So first of all, cruise control. So what cruise control does, it allows you to fly the drone in a particular direction. You then press one of the C1 or C2 buttons or the FN button, and that's going to lock in that trajectory onto the drone. So say for example, now you're flying straight down this estuary, you've got the speed you want, you've got the height you want, press the button, the drone's going to lock it in, and then nothing's going to adjust it. Even if you take your hands off the controller, you're still going to get the same nice smooth cinematic footage. And then on top of that, you can add in extra moves. So once you've got, say, your height and your speed going, you can then control the gimbal. And again, if you want the gimbal coming up in a nice, smooth, uniform way, you can just press the button again, and that's going to layer up the different levels of cruise control options you've got. So you're not only going to get the one trajectory, you're also going to get the gimbal control. And as I said, if you are using ND filters as well, that's going to add that little bit of extra motion blur and make it much more smoother and appealing for whoever's watching the video. So the first thing we need to do is to go into control. So we press the 3 buttons on the top right, select control, come down to button customization, and there you can see you've got different options for what you want to do with the C1, C2 button or the FN button. Now I'm using the RC2, so I need to do the C1 and C2 buttons. And for me, I find it easier to use the C2 button for my cruise control options. So I just need to select that, and you can see that you've got a number of different options from gimbal control, FPV, auxiliary lights and so forth. So I just click on the cruise control, and then that's going to lock in cruise control to the C2 button, and it really is as simple as that. Okay, so let's put it to practice how it actually works. So I'm going to take off. Right, take this forward a bit. So I've got it in normal mode. Take the drone up slightly. Take the drone up and then move it forward and then lock in cruise control. So the drone's struggling quite a bit now, as you could probably hear. So there we are. So moving forward, I've got it locked in at 9 meters a second, and the drone's just going, and I'm not touching anything. And the drone is keeping at that 9 meters a second. Now, if I want to raise the drone up, you can see it's starting to rise. I do the cruise control, and it comes up that the cruise control has been updated, and it's going to continue moving at that speed as it rises up. And that means that the footage is going to be nice and smooth, and there's nothing I need to do. Now again, I'll stop it there. So I've stopped the drone now, and I'm going to start bringing it back, and this time I'm going to start bringing it, the gimbal going downwards as I fly back as well. So the drone's coming back, I've locked in cruise control, and now I'm going to start the gimbal tilting down, and as I do that, I'm going to lock in cruise control again, and you can see it's coming back as the gimbal is coming down nice and slow, but I'm not controlling anything on the actual drone itself. And again, if I want to change that and have the gimbal going up, I can do exactly the same. So you can see the drone's coming back to me as well as the gimbal tones. So you can have it set up for any movement you want. So again, I'm going to have the drone rising up, set in the cruise control, and then give it a little bit of a spin, and then that's going to update the cruise control as well. So you can apply it to the gimbal roll as well. So I'm going to raise the drone up, and as the drone rises slowly, I'm then going to rotate the gimbal as well. So I'm going to take it up slightly, lock in cruise control, and then as it goes up slightly, I lock in the gimbal rotation. So you can see now that the gimbal's rotating on the drone as well as it's rising up, and I don't have to do anything. So that in a nutshell is the cruise control. So it's basically, you set the drone, it's going to go off on a predetermined path that you've set up, and then it's going to keep to that speed or rate of ascent or gimbal control, whatever it is that you've pressed the controller button on, and it's going to lock that in and give you nice smooth cinematic footage. So before I go on to the waypoint missions, if you could do the like, subscribe, notification bell and the hype, and there's also an option there for buy me a coffee, that would be great. Any funds I get from that are going to go towards new equipment like the Avata 360, which is out in the next couple of weeks. So the next thing I'll look at is waypoints. Now waypoints differs from cruise control, because with cruise control obviously you are controlling the drone and then locking in that function. Whereas with waypoints, you give it a number of different points to go to, and then the drone is going to fly from point A to point B to point C, and then you can control the speed or the rotation or the way that the gimbal goes between those points. So this means that you can set up a very complex path, and then the drone will go back and do that path nice and smoothly to save you having a mess about actually filming it. And this means you're again going to get some nice smooth footage, because you haven't got to worry about what the drone's going to be doing between any particular point, because you've already predetermined them. Right, so with the first waypoint mission, we need to press on the squiggly line, and that's going to bring up the option to set the first waypoint, and that's where I've got the drone at the moment. So I'm just going to click on the plus sign, and that's going to set the first waypoint for me. Then I'm going to fly it a little bit forward, and that's going to be the second waypoint. So I'm going to click it again, and then I'm going to turn it towards the tower, line it up, and then I'm just going to raise the drone up towards the top of the tower, and I'm going to select a third waypoint. Then I'm going to move it towards the tower again, and have it looking down at the top of the tower. Let's line it up. Add a fourth waypoint, and then I'm just going to bring it back and raise it up. And that's going to be my fifth waypoint. Now when you've done this, you can also select what you want the drone to do at that particular waypoint. So on the first one, if I go back and I select that, I can have the camera action to start recording. So once the drone comes back to me, it's going to start recording that automatically. Then I can go to the last waypoint, and then I can have it to stop recording. Now when you have set up the waypoint mission, it's just a matter of clicking next, and then the drone's going to ask you what you want it to do when it completes the mission, whether or not you want it to come back to you or go back to the place that it started, which would be the first waypoint. So we just click on go, and now the drone's going to come back to where it started, which is near me. Start off at the first waypoint, rise up, and then do the predetermined flight path. So it's at the first waypoint, it's rising up, so I'm not doing anything for the controller. And you can also see on the screen the waypoint that it's at. So you can see for this one, for example, it's at 4 of 5.
Return to home.
And then the waypoint's been completed, and now the drone's coming back to me. So that's waypoints, a really easy way for you to get nice smooth footage without any hassle, because you can go in, prepare the flight path that you want to do, and the drone's going to go and do everything automatically again for you. So again, with Cruise Control, both of these methods allow you to get really nice, smooth cinematic footage. Okay, well I hope you found it useful. As I said, it was only using a basic introduction to both of the features. There are more videos you can watch in depth on Cruise Control and Waypoints up here, so you can watch them, or there's a link in the description. If you found it useful, if you could do the like, subscribe, the notification bell and the hype. There's also an option there for buy me a coffee if you want to do that, and anything from that will just go towards new equipment like the Avata 360, which is coming out later in the month. If you've got any questions in relation to Cruise Control or Waypoints, let me know in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them as well. And thanks for watching again. Bye.